Hello and welcome to my garage with me, Woody. Come on in. Oh shit. Hello and welcome to my garage, messy garage with me, Woody. Come on in. So over here, this is my kite box. Yes, I'm interested in aviation, everything that flies, basically, anything powered by the wind, the sea, surfing, windsurfing, sailing, but kites as well. So let's get this out and I'll take you through and give you a quick presentation of all of my kites. On the wall here we have two bog standard stunt kites really. These are 2-line stunt kites. This one was given to me at a rubbish dump by somebody actually very generously. I don't know why, but they did. This one here I bought a few years ago from Amazon. This is a HQ BEBOP kite. And yeah, a lot of fun. Fast kite to fly, and this is actually Camera Boy's favourite kite, right?
Yes.
Would you like to say hello, by the way?
No.
Oh, come on. And a thumbs up. Thumbs up. There we go. Okay, let's go through these in the order in which I bought them, and some of these are like 20 years old or something. So we'll start, I think, with this. This is my, WINDDANCE 3. I may have called it WINDDANCE 2, but it's WINDDANCE 3 from the year 2000. It's a foil kite. It's actually quite large. Let's put it down here. Yeah, there you go. Let's take it up in the air. I'll fly it for you and tell you a little bit about it. This then is a Seattle Air Gear WINDDANCE 2 from about 2000, making it a vintage kite. The company is no longer in business, but these were pretty well thought of kites back in the day. I imported it from the USA and I remember how excited I was when it arrived. I was into parafoil kites and power kiting at the time. Here's a picture of me and I haven't changed much at all. The wingspan is 6'11" or about 2 meters, and with a decent pull of about 50 kilograms in strong winds, so a perfect compromise of speed and power, as you can see. It's a foil design without any spars, so you just roll it up and stuff it into a bag and there's nothing to break. This makes it the perfect power kite for traveling, and it's been with me all around the world, flying in the Namibia sand dunes on the Skeleton Coast and even the Cape in South Africa. You control it with 2 lines and you can do loops and all your typical stunt kite tricks, but I just like swooshing around low to the ground. The blade is considered an iconic power kite from the Flexifoil company in the UK. This one has a massive area of 4.9 meters. You fly it on 4 lines with 2 upper lines and 2 lower lines called brake lines. And you use these to do quick turns and also control the power that the kite generates. I had it for a year or 2, but to be honest, the kite was quite terrifying to fly, as it would yank you up off your feet and tip you off balance and drag you along the ground. Fun on a sandy beach, I suppose, but at the time I was flying it on a grass field. These photos were taken almost exactly 20 years ago. I no longer have the kite. Okay, next up is a very special kite because I made it myself. This is my NASA PARAWING, or sometimes called and it's very sandy as well. We've just been using it on the beach. This is called a NASA PARAWING or NPW5 kite. Looks like this. Let's get it up into the air and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Har det bra? Det här måste vi tvätta. Det är väldigt sandig och saltig. It was a nice challenge and not so hard to build your own kite following patterns and instructions, and I only sewed right through the fingernail of my hand once and the nail and thread came out the other side of my finger. Yeah, that was, ouch, yeah, a bit painful. You quickly learn by your mistakes though. The design of this kite is fascinating. It is based on a NASA design for the parachutes that were used to slow the descent of the lunar lander. You know, the thing that splashes down into the sea. Then the kite community got hold of the plans and modified it to make a pretty interesting power kite. It can be flown with 2 or 4 lines, and this thing pulls like a truck. It also has the speed of a truck, but it's a lot of fun to fly through the power zone. This particular one that I made is 2.3 meters in area. I also had a 5 meter model for a while, but that one just pulled me around too much and wasn't a lot of fun. My kite was built about 20 years ago and it's still going strong. This particular day it's not been flying too well and seems to want to go in reverse. I later adjusted the length of the brake lines and now it's flying perfectly. I'll show you that later. Okay, next we have this, which I'll show you very briefly. There's nothing too exciting about this one. It's another foil kite, but a little bit smaller. This is the Symphony Beach. This feeling. And then, yeah, we've just got some assorted lines. You always need lots of kite lines, handles and so on in here, but we won't go into details there. This little 2-line parafoil is the HQ Symphony Beach. Very cheap, about 40 bucks on Amazon a few years ago, just as a little trainer kite for my son. Today, it isn't performing very well at all. Seems to want to collapse all the time. Just a few days earlier I was flying and it was perfect. Maybe it's because my nephew Noah crashed it into the sea, so it was very sandy, wet and a bit heavy. The winds were also quite turbulent today. We took the NASA wing to a new location by the Swedish Stonehenge called ALES STENAR. Have a separate video about that if you're interested. Here the winds were really strong and there were some guys flying some really big kites. So here's a little montage I made for you. The way these work, they have no engine, obviously, they're just working or flying on the updrafts as the onshore wind hits the cliffs and gets forced upwards. A few years ago, about 10 years ago, I was into radio-controlled sailplanes and was flying in this location and had an altercation with some of these paragliders. Obviously, I don't want to endanger their life or anybody, or risk any injuries, but I wasn't really sure who owned the airspace. And I was flying in a spot where they wanted to fly as well, and they kicked me off basically after a bit of an argument. It didn't help that I crashed my airplane almost into a guy that was unpacking his parachute. But yeah, who does have the right to fly in these skies? NASA wing is practically indestructible with no spars. I put it to the test a couple of days later, crashing into a very thorny, bushy tree thing by the beach. I was able to drag the kite out without any damage, but I did destroy the bush in the process, but the kite was okay, albeit very tangled up in the bridle system. I did manage to fix it, and it'll probably live another 20 years. Yes, the power of the NASA wing can catch unexperienced flyers out. This is Wilma being dragged along the beach, but still managing to maintain some degree of control. Respect.
Be nice to it.
Be nice.
Pet it.
Just pet it. Look, it's shaking for you. Shaking it.
My latest pickups that I haven't received yet are these amazing Revolution style stunt kites. These have 4 lines, so you can control each corner of the kite to do some amazing tricks. These kites fly in any direction, at any speed. They can slide sideways, go in reverse, spin and flip. In the hands of a good pilot, they are pretty amazing. Yes, we love to call ourselves pilots instead of adults playing with silly toys. Ja, nu kan jag avrunda det här. Du filmar mig lite grann. I think someone said that flying a kite is like holding the wind in your hands. Something like that, I don't quite remember. But yeah, I really love this sport, always have done. We've got some more kites on the way. If you like this video and the somewhat random content, and if you're interested in kites, let me know in the comments. And perhaps we'll do some more kiting videos, because we have 2 very interesting and exciting kites on the way that will be arriving in a week or 2. So yeah, I'll see you then. Cheerio.